If you liked the video, feel free to subscribe. It would really help the channel, and we have battle reports, boarding actions, and list videos every week. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by. This video is going over an Adeptus Custodes tournament winning list. I have had a few comments asking my thoughts on some of these tournament winning lists for the Adeptus Custodes. Well, here it is, and I'll make it a bit quicker than the usual list overviews. That way, if this does well, we can make a weekly series taking a look at tournament lists. I started with the Talons of the Emperor list that was used by Folger Pyles to win the Rumble in the Rivers GT, and this was a few weeks ago. I do believe it was the beginning of November, end of October. So let's take a look at the list and its path to victory, and then highlight some of the units with their synergy, the Talons of the Emperor. Folger Pyles list, it was 2,000 points. He had a Blade Champion as a Warlord, and then 2 characters, 2 other Blade Champions, no enhancements. For Battle Line, there was 4 Custodian Guard, 3 with Spears, 1 with Vexilla, Shield, and Misericordia, 3 units of 5 Wardens with the Spears in the Vexilla, 2 Caladius Grav Tanks with those heavy Arachnus Blades cannons to provide some anti-tank support, a unit of 4 Prosecutors, 2 units of 4 Witchseekers, just 1 dedicated transport, the Psychona Rhino with the Hunter-Killer Missile. For the allied units, he did bring Inquisitor Draxus to join up with that Custodian Guard squad. Now let's highlight some of these units and talk about the benefits that the Talons of the Emperor does bring these specific units. So the Talons of the Emperor detachment rule is the one if you're within 6 inches of a Psychona unit, you get a 5-up feel no pain against mortals and psychic attacks, and vice versa, if you have any of your Custodes units within 6 inches of a Psychona unit, they get +1 to the hit roll. The first one we'll highlight is those Blade Champion units with the Wardens. It gives 3 tanky units to hold objectives and push enemy lines. 3 Blade Champions will give 3 units that can advance and charge once per game and reroll those charges all game, so this does give a lot of melee threat throughout the list. The Blade Champions add a lot of extra punch into the Warden's melee attacks. They do have a precision weapon profile, but I rather that deadly 5 attacks, AP3, damage 3, devastating wounds profile. So we had 3 of these Blade Champions running around cranking out some damage. And these 3 stratagems I would keep in mind for these units. The Talon Pincer for that reactive move, Emperor's Executioners to get +1 to the wound in melee, which will really help those Blade Champions and Wardens since they do not get any rerolls, so there aren't Custodian Guards. They just are really tough. So this way you can help crank out a little extra damage with +1 to the wound. And Hunt is 1 for fallback. Shoot and charge is always great for the Custodes. Draxus with Custodian Guard is just a great unit to have in any list. It gives the list a potent anti-infantry shooting unit. Draxus also gives that unit a 18-inch lone-op ability in the command phase on a 2-up in the roll. Custodian Guard giving Draxus reroll the wound of 1 or the entire wound roll if we're on a controlled objective. Plus shoot twice per game, you can really do some good anti-infantry damage with this unit. It's only a 4-man Custodian Guard unit, so there's only 3 spears that it can shoot, but they still have some decent melee threat if anything gets too close with those 3 spears. Her weapons are only 18-inch range, so if there's no target within that 18-inch range, this unit can be used for secondary actions. The 2 Caladius Grav Tanks, these tanks are our best anti-tank damage by far. They are fantastic counter-shooting platforms. 4 shots, hitting on 2s, lethal hits into vehicles or monsters, strength 12, AP3, damage D6 +2 with twin linked, movement of 10, fly, and an OC of 4. They can be used to hold and steal objectives as well. They make having a unit of prosecutors holding the back line much easier since we can use the tanks to screen. And if they are within 6 inches of that Psychona unit, they can get the benefits of that detachment rule and some of the stratagems that do allow us to pick 2 units at the same time, as long as one is a Psychona unit and one is a Custodes unit within 6 inches of each other. 2 good stratagems to keep in mind: Empiric Severance for 1 CP. It does give a 4-up feel no pain to help protect the tanks from high damage, devastating wounds attack, but you do have to be within 6 inches of a Psychona unit to use this stratagem. Talon Pincer can be used to great effect on these Grav Tanks, moving them away from charges, putting them on objectives to make sure they can't get stolen, or even move blocking or charge blocking with them. There's a lot of things you can do with Talon Pincer. Our Psychona units, with the 2 units of Witchseekers, the 1 Prosecutor unit, and the Rhino, this has a good amount of Psychona units to spread that 5-up feel no pain to mortals and psychic 6 inches aura, The Rhino is a tough unit with speed that can spread the ore and do secondary actions. Can start one of the Witchseekers inside the Psychona Rhino to give that Rhino a 6-inch scout ability. The Prosecutor unit was probably used to hold his home objective for most of the game. These units will be the utility scoring units of the list. And just for some overall points to this list, it has very good primary scoring potential. There's plenty of secondary scoring units in the list. The Psychona units to spread the detachment rule is great to protect against mortals and psychic. The 2 grav tanks give the list some really good anti-tank support. There's no shield captains, so CP management will be key to this list. It won't be starved for CP if we focus on certain stratagems to use and plan for future turns. It is very important for the Custodes. You need to plan for future turns if you want to have success in competitive matches. You can't just reactive move, you have to plan for the future. Talons of the Emperor does take more skill to pilot, but like Folger showed us, it can win tournaments. And once again, congrats Folger Pyles, an amazing showing. It's great to see someone win a tournament with something other than the Null Maiden Vigil. And that was just a quick little overview of a tournament winning list. If this does well, we will start putting these out once in a while, just going over some of these tournament winning lists and just giving us a little glimmer of hope for things we can do with these Custodes and our Codex. Subscribe for weekly Warhammer 40K content. And like I always say, thanks for watching, thanks for stopping by.